In this video, I'm going to show you the 7-step social media strategy I used to get 120k followers on Instagram, 55k followers on LinkedIn, 36k followers on Facebook, and more importantly, an extra 120 to 170k in profit per month for my online business. By the end of this breakdown, you will have a clear and concise step-by-step plan to grow your business profit organically without investing anything, with leads begging to buy your product every day. So the first step to making your social media strategy is simple but underlooked. You see, most are chasing the wrong metrics on social media. In fact, recently, 252 entrepreneurs paid me $500 so that I could teach them how to generate leads and clients with organic social media. And every single one of them had the same problem. They thought their goal was growth or engagement. And you may think that is your goal now too. But like a plane that takes off from New York to go to London, if it's just 1 degree off, it could land in Ireland, Germany, or somewhere else. If you don't know your exact destination, you could end up going in circles. That's why the first step is getting your metrics, your goals extremely clear the right way, so you don't post the wrong content or waste a lot of time. So in less than 1 minute from now, you will have your true goals clear. Just join me on this quick 60-second strategic goal setting exercise. This 60-second exercise changed the lives of a majority of those 252 entrepreneurs that I was helping just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm confident that it will give you clarity too. Ready? First, write down how much you want to make per month. Let's say it's $20,000. After that, write down the average amount a client pays you. If it's always different, just average it out. Let's say it's $2,000. Then divide your income goal by the amount that the client pays you. With my example, it's 20K divided by 2K, and the number that you're left with is the number of clients that you need to have on a monthly basis to hit your income goals. Now, most people think they need thousands of views or reach in order to hit their goal, but let me show you this. Just write down the average close rate that you have on sales calls. So if you have 10 sales calls with the right prospects, how many of them would turn into your paying client? As the founder of the business, it's usually 50% or more. So let's be conservative and call it that 50%. You just take the number of clients that you need per month and you double it. That's how many leads that you need on a monthly basis. Then just divide that by 4, and that shows you how many leads that you need from social media each week. So with my example numbers from earlier, if the goal was 20K a month, that means we'd only need 20 leads per month, which is just 5 leads per week. That number of leads feels doable, right? When you reverse engineer the numbers to understand your true goals, you're then left with a strategic target versus going for just as much as possible. Because while step 1 is about understanding how many leads you need to meet your financial goals so that you're clear on why you're doing this in the first place, step 2 is all about how you get there. Now, a while ago, I was on a trip in Japan and I was super hungry, and I'm not gonna lie, when I get hungry, I get a little bit hangry. Anybody else? So I was walking down the road and I couldn't figure out what any of the restaurants were offering. And I have a bit of an intolerance when I eat gluten. So I didn't want to go into the wrong place and eat the wrong thing because that happened the previous day. So what I ended up doing, because my Google Translate wasn't picking up what the signs were all saying, even though there was massive, big and bold flashing signs outside of all of these restaurants, I walked straight past them and I went into 7-Eleven and I got some prepackaged sushi. And I did that because Japanese is a language that I don't understand. And I see that happening so often in people's sales and marketing. You could be posting 10 times a day, spending tens of thousands of dollars a month on ads, but if your expertise isn't being communicated in the right way that the right people understand and want, it feels like you're speaking to them in a foreign language, meaning that they'll just scroll right past your profile, they won't pay attention to you, and they'll go to someone who's speaking to them in the way that makes sense for them. And that means that even if you were to put in more effort and time right now, it won't result in additional revenue. That's why step 2 to creating your social media strategy is what I call brainwave inception. And brainwave inception is significantly better than just doing market research, because you get into the mind of your ideal client to see who they're following, what they're thinking, and what content they're already consuming. So then before you post anything else, you know that you are speaking to the same narrative that's already going on in their mind, and you meet them where they're at, and then you get their attention and bring them over into your world. The easiest way to do this is just look at your last 10 to 20 sales calls and specifically pay attention to what the people who became your clients said. What do they say their problems, challenges, and goals are? And I like to keep a pain gain sheet. Every time me or my team have a sales call with someone that becomes a client, we go back to the sales call transcript and we write down word for word what they said their problems and challenges are, their pains, and what their goals and desires are, their gains. We keep that on a spreadsheet and then we can refer back to it whenever we're making making content, because that gives you the language that you need for step 3 of creating your social media strategy, which is creating your content pillars. And by the way, I've linked another YouTube video in the description box which shows you how you can use AI to help you do this entire process and make sure that your content is going to make you money. So watch that one after this video is done. It'll also help you create your content pillars, because when you figure out the different problems, goals, and challenges that your ideal client has, you'll start to notice that there are 3 to 5 recurring topics that they keep mentioning. You want to take those topics and turn them into 3 clear content pillars, and then literally ban yourself from talking about anything else. Think about it as business media, not social media. It is not important for you to keep sharing your lunch or what you're doing throughout the day. You are just creating extra work for yourself. If you think about somebody like Tony Robbins, he doesn't document every single thing that he's doing throughout the day. Neither does Gary Vee or Alex Hormozi. They have a few certain topics that they talk about, and then they post about those topics consistently. But you don't want to just randomly start posting. Instead, it's very important that we move into step 4, which is understanding content styles. A great social media strategy has 3 styles of posts. There are posts that speak to strangers, so people that have no idea who you are. There are posts that speak to your existing audience, so the people that already know, like, and trust you. And then there are posts for prospects who are actively looking for a solution that you can help them with. Here's an example. So this post is a reach post, okay? It was designed to reach strangers. It got more than 8 million views just from one LinkedIn post, but it got very few leads. And that's okay, because the goal of this post wasn't to get leads, it wasn't to get clients, it was audience growth. Whereas this post, it got just 20,000 views, which for me is not a lot, but it landed me 3 clients who each paid me 12K. I see very few people talking about this, and it doesn't make sense, because in order to have a successful social media strategy, you need to be able to reach all different segments of the market. So as you're creating posts for strangers, remember, strangers don't yet know you. So when they see you pop up on their feed for the first time, they're gonna be thinking, who is this person and why should I listen to them? And they see value as relevancy and feeling understood. So your content needs to make them feel understood, and then they're going to be likely to follow you. When it comes to the content for your existing audience, there's 2 types. You either want to connect with them or you want to convert them. So connecting with them is things more like day in the life, behind the scenes, things that you're thinking about relating to your industry. And then when it comes to conversion content, that's where you're giving tactical insight, breaking something down, and then getting someone to opt into something, so then you can give them something for free in exchange for them raising their hand, sending you a DM, jumping onto your email list, where obviously from there they get into your sales process or your marketing process, depending on their stage of awareness. I could get super tactical about this, but I just want to give you the overall strategy at first. So make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos where I will be going much deeper on this exact topic, because then the 3rd style of content is for prospects, and that's where you're putting out offers. You only want to be doing this once, maximum twice a week, and I prefer to do this via email and then on your stories, because stories are only seen by the people that are already following you, unless someone is stalking you and then they're just gonna tap your story just to view it while they're stalking you. Because what ends up happening with this strategy is the content that's designed for strangers, right, the growth style content, that gets seen, and then people follow you. And as they start scrolling through your profile, then what they do is they see one of your posts that is designed for your followers, where it's connecting or converting. If it's a connection piece of content, maybe they like you, maybe they engage with it, maybe they keep scrolling your profile, and then they keep scrolling and they'll see one of your conversion pieces of content. They'll comment on that post to get the freebie or click the link, whatever it is, and then they get into your ecosystem. Or they don't. They keep following you for months or even years, and they see one of your offers for your prospects, and they are right now a prospect. They're looking for a solution, so they respond to that and then they become a client. Or they don't. They keep scrolling, they keep following, and they then see one of your posts designed to convert. They come to your webinar, and then boom, you just never know how long it's going to be. This is organic. Marketing isn't linear these days, right? It's not just like they go to a page, they buy or they die. No, it's like they come here, then they go there, then they see you on this platform and that platform. So anyway, I digress. No one speaks about this, but essentially what you need to have is 2 to 4 posts for strangers per week minimum, and then you want to have 1 or 2 for your existing audience per week, and then 1 or 2 for your prospects per week, okay? And if you're in a phase where you just want to grow the audience, you can just do more growth content and lower down the other styles of posts. If you're in a launch, you can do some more lead gen content, okay? You can up and down it, but on average, those are the rough number of posts that you want to be doing per week. And it doesn't have to be this on Monday and that on Tuesday, not like that. Balance it out relatively similar to what I just said, because that's the thing that we found produces the most revenue and ensures that you grow your audience while simultaneously generating generating enough leads and extracting revenue from the people who are finding your content. And next, I need to talk about a mistake that so many people make with their social media strategy. Step 5 is all about picking the right platforms. A lot of people pick platforms for the wrong reason. You shouldn't necessarily create on the platform that you like the most, because by now you know the number of leads that you need in order to reach your financial goals. So can you see why, based on the number of leads you need, you just don't need to be on every platform all at once right away? It's really important that we go back to the psychology of your customer and understand which is the platform that they are actively scrolling on throughout the day. Start with that platform and then expand from there. This is really important because the content that works well on Instagram needs to be formatted in a different way to content that performs well on LinkedIn or YouTube, etc., etc. For example, my results have primarily come through written content, and I've barely produced any video content on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Like, it's just not necessary. So if you don't like making videos or you find it a lot of effort, don't worry, you can do it all with written. Just go and stalk all of my social media profiles. It's just my name, Lauren Tickner. Sure, you'll have a small percentage that do perform across the board, but just because some guru says that Facebook is great or YouTube is great or LinkedIn is great or whatever, doesn't mean that that's the case. And it doesn't mean that the same frameworks are going to work on one platform to the next. Scaling a business to multiple 7 figures in profit per year requires that you learn to think critically and that you learn to think for yourself. So if you don't know which platforms will be the right ones for you, just go back to the last 10 clients that signed up with you and ask them where they spend most of their time online. Step 6 is all about content frameworks, but you can only figure out the content frameworks that are going to work for you if you know which platforms you're going to use, because different platforms have different content frameworks that work. Content frameworks that work are constantly updating and evolving. So I will be posting relevant videos about them, so make sure to subscribe to my channel and watch the next video about how to use AI the right way to help you with this entire process. I've dropped the video here on the screen, so click it and watch that next for step 7, which is automating this entire process with AI so that you can scale your content to get the right number of views that you need in order to hit your goal. But for now, I'll see you over on this video.